Just doing a little pre-flighting right now. Tonight's flight, I think, is going to be a little interesting. We're going to try and go from L22 Yucca Valley over to Van Nuys, and then if we have time, we'll continue from Van Nuys on to SoCal John Wayne. This is going to be kind of a challenge because looking at the current weather, out in the east, there's pretty low ceilings. Yucca Valley's elevation is about 3,300, and this is the nearest weather station. It's showing a broken layer at 4,500 and an overcast layer at 6,000. So, yeah, that's gonna be a little bit interesting to try and figure out how we pull this off. It's gonna be a little interesting. I think it's completely doable. I did a little bit of research to see how one does an IFR departure in these sorts of conditions. There is no obstacle departure procedure at Yucca Valley. There's no like obstacle survey that's been done, and there's no other way to really figure out what we're able to do to get up safely. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. The strategy that I'm going to take here, looking at the chart, it looks like it's fairly flat out to 29 palms of VOR. Basically, we can go directly east and be through relatively low terrain. There's a 5,600 peak here, but basically the airport's here if we depart and go straight east to 29 palms. From there, we should be able to climb up if needed. We could hold there and climb up. The eventual altitude I want to take is 10,000, because starting at Palm Springs, which is over here, there's a tech route over into Van Nuys that looks like this. Palm Springs, Victor, what's the number? I gotta go look on the IFR chart. There we go. Victor 388 to Paradise VOR, Paradise to Santa Monica. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. No, Van Nuys, I'm sorry, Van Nuys VOR. And then from there, the airport is essentially right there. I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, sorry about that, I had to go close the door. So essentially, one way to do this would be to depart VFR and then pick up IFR in the air, and that's that's essentially what we're going to do. I'm going to try and get clearance fairly quickly after we depart Yucca Valley. I'm not actually sure if we could call on the ground if we wanted to, but in any case, we're going to call pretty much right after takeoff. And the catch there is that we can't do a VFR climb up to our altitude. We have to, because of the low clouds. So we're going to be in a situation where we are assuming the responsibility for the separation of ourselves from terrain, and we'll ask the controller. We'll still have radar contact us, and we'll be separating us from other traffic, but they won't be they're responsible for making sure we don't hit anything. So it should be an interesting one. That's the general plan of attack. As I try to say in most of my streams and videos, I'm not a real-world pilot. I'm definitely not an instrument pilot. And if this was a real-world flight, I would think long and hard before following through with this plan and departing using this plan. But I think it is doable. So once we get onto our flight plan, cruise altitude should be 10,000. Looking at the en route altitudes here, basically, we need to be up at 7,600 by the time we want to depart 29 Palms VOR. For this segment here, 7,600. Crossing Palm Springs, we'll need to be up to at least 9,500, and then after that, after we get over the mountains, it drops down pretty quick. We'll be filing a cruise of 10K, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else to go over. If you have any questions at any point, feel free to speak up. I'm watching chat, and I love talking to people, so feel free. Let me go ahead and fill out the flight plan form here. Oops, go back. We're flying a Beach Bonanza. I actually need to go look up the aircraft type code for that. I think I know what it is, but I want to make sure. Ah, what do you know? There's a PilotEdge forum about it, mentioning this very plane that I'm going to fly. Golf, true airspeed should be around 160. Yucca Valley, arriving at Van Nuys, cruising at 10,000. Alternate from Van Nuys, we'll just use LAX. Out of flight will be 29 palms, palm string. I think it's 388. I'm going to check real quick. 388 to Paradise, and then Victor 186. Van Nuys. Okay, that's all set. It's just about done with the flight plan on the GPS, so I'll go ahead and get that finished real quick. I know I had said previously I would try to do one of my next flights pretty soon, Slant Alpha, and proceed using mostly just the nav radios. This is not going to be that flight. There's enough other stuff going on that I want to make sure I don't want to be trying to do too much at once here. Hey, Nick F08, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. KVNY here. Nick asks, how do you plug a flight plan into the new GPS? Well, the way that I usually do it is the way you're looking at right here, which is just by scrolling through and putting in the waypoints. There's also a menu you can use. I believe there's a menu option that will load a stored flight plan, or maybe it's under this page. Yeah. If you put them in the right directory, if you put the .fms file in the right directory, it'll show up here and you can load it. I usually just do it by hand because my flights are usually short enough that it doesn't take that long to just get it in there. Alright, we need to connect to PilotEdge. Change our information from the last time.
Connected to PilotEdge.
And I'll switch back to the sectional here. So this being an uncontrolled field, of course there's no one to talk to. We'll use CTAF on 123.0. And I'm going to get dialed in for 29 palms on 114.2. Got 123.0 there. Just need 114.2. Yeah, hitting the enter button confirms entering a waypoint, and then you hit the cursor button, push the middle to get your cursor if you need one. That's how you do the waypoint entry. Alright, let's see what else do we need to do. Set our altimeter real quick. 3019er is the best we have. There we go. Check everything else here. Lights are all on. Turn our pitot heat on. Trim is reasonably centered. Approach flaps for departure. Transponder to 1200 for right now since we are going to depart IFR. Let's see. I think that's about it as far as pre-flight goes. We are at, this is the booming metropolis of Yucca Valley with its tiny little airport. We're already parked down here at the end I want to depart at, runway 6. Take a quick look off to see if there's any traffic coming. Alright, let's do this. Yucca Valley traffic, Bonanza 1310 Alpha is going to depart runway 6 straight out to the east, Yucca Valley. Nick says he has no school tomorrow, so he's going to watch us fly. Sounds good to me, Nick. You got school off for the storm, I assume. Must be out on the East Coast somewhere. Oh, one other thing I should have done first, that I'll have to do later, is should have dialed in Los Angeles Center to pick up our IFR clearance, but alas, we were unable to do that. So, do that in just a sec. Positive rate, gear up. Hey, Pi Productions, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Power underneath us here. Okay. Locked in. Struggling to climb here a little bit. It's not good. We'll switch over to the Los Angeles frequency. Not sure why we're not getting, feel like we're getting full power here. Oh, it's 'cause here we're stuck down, that's why. Thank you, WinTK. I thought I had it up. I used my button that I had mapped to gear up, but it didn't seem to work. Oh well. Alright, let's grab the Los Angeles frequency real quick. I'm actually going to turn back towards the airport. Oh, 2815. It's quite a challenge to do this all single-handedly. I don't think I would do this in the real life without a without a second pilot
set
with me.
your radar contact, climb and maintain 7,000.
10K says, I bet your explain window wasn't active when you used the keyboard. You might be right. Alright, we're VFR, so we gotta stay out of that cloud. So I'm gonna level off here. About 4,000. I'm gonna throw on altitude hold real quick. Just to help us out. Turn back. Those mountains. Get a little bit higher, actually.
Or 1484 Bravo.
Oops.
Discreet. Calling Vegas Road approach, stand by.
Los Angeles Center, good evening. It's Bonanza 1310 Alpha. How do you hear me?
For 1310 Alpha, Los Angeles Center, loud and clear.
Okay, that's Bonanza 1310 Alpha. We'd like to pick up our IFR into Van Nuys. We're just east of the Yucca Valley Airport, looking to climb to the minimum IFR altitude, assuming our own terrain separation.
Bonanza 1310 Alpha, squawk 5625 ident.
5625 and ident for 1310 Alpha. Oops. 25 and ident. Dialed in for that course. 29 palms.
Delay 86, turn left heading tree 5-star vector for sequence.
As you can see, the terrain out here is not too much to worry about, so that's why I'm keeping us headed the way we're headed here. I'm actually going to turn east just a little bit while we wait for our clearance. Ooh, hello, weather front. Alright, we gotta turn back a little bit here.
And calling for clearance for the I-8, say call sign only.
Next time I might call in and try and get our clearance on the ground.
Air 501 Mike, Foxtrot, stand by.
Because this is making me a little nervous up here at this altitude with all these clouds.
Air 1 Mike, Foxtrot, you're on request. Number 2, stand by.
Traffic there right about the 12 o'clock. Keep an eye on that. Alright, we're going fast here.
This tree for operator service terminated squawk VFR contact Riverside Tower 121.0. Good day.
Might call again in a minute here. I know she's probably
JetBlue 186,
trying to
traffic.
figure out what to do with us because this is kind of
10
an
o'clock,
unusual
close in a
request.
mile, opposite direction, altitude gates 13000
In the meantime, we're looking right at Yucca Valley. If we need to go land again,
contact
we
circuit
certainly
approach
can.
135.4. XLA 86, clear direct Daggett.
Center, it's been in the 1310 Alpha, still working on IFR clearance for us.
Bonanza 1310 Alpha, affirmative. You are radar contact 13 miles southwest of 29 Palms. JetBlue 186, contact circle approach 135.4.
Hey, Alex, it's Flying Club. Good to see you.
XL 480 to contact circle approach 125.2. XL 482, affirmative. XL 482, 125.2. XL 482, 125.2,
Just about to cross
125.2.
over the airport here. I'm going to dial in another 180-degree turn and head out for a little bit here.
XL 445, see speed.
Controller's pretty busy, so it might take us a little bit to get the pop-up clearance that I'm waiting for. If you're just joining us, we're trying to pick up an IFR clearance out of it, completely uncontrolled and a field with no obstacle departure procedure at any kind. So we departed the field VFR. As you can see, there's some pretty low ceilings here, so we're just
Stationer
kind of circling.
4872 Whiskey, so got a departure.
While we wait.
Radar contact. Stationer 72 Whiskey. Correction, Stationer 4872 Whiskey, so got approach. Contact Hawthorne Tower 121.1 with the request. XL 482, my apologies. Contact Los Angeles Center 1. You can continue on the departure and contact Los Center 119.95.
Pull the prop back a little bit here. Oh, I see what the problem. I see why the gear didn't come up. My quadrant got unplugged. That'll do it. So all my adjustments are not.
JetBlue 180, so got approach Ontario altimeter 3007.
A little bit here. All right.
JetBlue 180, across KO at maintain 8,000.
Busy controller. To get cleared en route here. I suppose I could ask for a clearance just to 29 Palms. That would get us the ability to be able to climb in the clouds as long as we are being separated from other traffic. as you can see, this weather ahead just does not look good. So
XO 482 Los Angeles Center, climb maintain flight level 250 to record direct Daggett.
call up for that in just a sec once I get some free air here. Los Angeles Bonanza 131 Alpha, can you get us just an IFR to 29 Palms VOR for now, just a clearance to 29 Palms, then we can climb up and get through the clouds here?
For Victor Alpha have correction. We're 714 Jack Alpha. Have not forgotten about you. Stand by.
Alright. I'm not sure that was us or somebody else, but...
Cessa 6260 Papa.
Nick says, PilotEdge is getting crowded
today.
Arrival, indeed it is, and, you know, I'm looking at the... I know we have lots of controllers working the ground and tower positions. We're doing something a little off the beaten path by trying to pick up IFR en route, so... It's not surprising it's taking a little bit to run this through the system. Disgrace Pilot says it'd be really neat to see more controllers in different positions if it's big enough. That's absolutely the plan. We have a kind of a scaling system that we follow to add more controllers when needed. It's just not... The first things we add are the ground and tower positions, so it doesn't really help when you're trying to do something on the en route portion, which is usually fairly quiet.
Romeo Cross Claret, maintain 13000 Las Vegas altimeter 3009er.
Bad Mage says, just like real world, calling for pop-up leaves you last on the list. So true, my friend.
445. Cross Claret, maintain 13000.
Good news is the weather's continuing to hold out here. I'm just flying circles back and forth around the airport that we departed from, so if needed, we can always land back there.
So 886, Cross Claret, maintain 13000.
Got plenty of fuel, I'm not worried about gas or anything like that, so we're just kind of cruising for the moment. Oop. Don't do that to me, X-Plane. Don't do that to me. Alright, well,
This is 60 Papa, negative. You'll be on Palmdale. I'm just gonna, it's a vector to join the arrival.
Turn back over the...
Bonanza 10 Alpha, you're able to maintain your own terrain alpha clearance between your present altitude and 7,000 feet.
Bonanza 1310 Alpha, affirmative. We just got sucked in big time, but that's the Simpsons.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, clear to the Van Nuys Airport via Palm Springs, Victor 388, then as filed, climb maintain 10,000.
Okay, we're clear to Palm Springs, Victor 388, then as filed, climb to 10,000 for Bonanza 1310 Alpha.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, clearance limit is Van Nuys Airport via Palm Springs, Victor 388, just want to verify.
Yeah, Van Nuys via Palm Springs, Victor 388, thanks. Alright, so we can now begin our...
So 482, Tech Los Angeles Center 125.27.
Yeah, we got stuck in these high mountains. We should not be over here. Yeah, it's time to go. Let's go up immediately. Do not try this at home or in real life.
So 482, Los Angeles Center, thank you.
That's the moral of this story.
JetBlue 186, contact Second Bridge 127.2.
Alright. Let's go ahead and trim up for climb here. We are now headed direct to 29 Palms, climbing up to 10,000. Once I get up above to about 7,700, I should be able to turn
So 445.
to Palm Springs instead of Nine Palms.
JetBlue 186 got the bridge, John Wayne altimeter 3009er. Just gonna maintain 6,000. Sparkeo heading 260. Vector for the visual approach, runway 20 right, okay.
Lean out a little bit. Alright, so we should be doing good here. I'm gonna get Palm Springs dialed up and the backup. I guess actually we can do GPS at this point. Alright, so we'll do that once we get up to about 7,700. For the moment, I'm confident that this course, since we're on our own terrain separation model, or we're on responsibility for our own separation for terrain, so I'll make sure we're doing that. Answering the question, this is the Carenado F33 Bonanza. F is in Foxtrot. Nick says, I don't know what you're carrying on this thing, but darn it, can't climb. Yeah, I've got 3 passengers on board and a decent amount of gas.
KVNY 501 Foxtrot.
It's climbing. It's getting there.
Clear 2.
We could actually probably up the climb speed just a little bit here since we're not quite at
maintain
DY.
5,000. Departure frequency 125.2. Squawk 6607. Hold for release and hold to rate back.
Now we're in the clouds and I'm not worried about it.
Very
Very different feeling.
Bakersfield altimeter 3002.
Yeah, I really like this plane. This is my first stream using this aircraft. I really like it. The panel's very easy to use and very easy to fly. There's also I'm also a big fan of Bonanzas in general. The flying club that I hope to Sunday join has a beach debonair Bonanza, which I think is a B33 Victor model instead of F33, but I could be wrong. But yeah, they're fun to fly. It's a beautiful panel, and the outside model's pretty nice as well.
KVNY 1, check out how we do feedback.
Yeah. All right, now that we're established here a little bit more, get the taxi and landing lights off.
KVNY 1, Foxtrot, feedback correct. Advise when ready.
Hold the prop back just a little bit, and I think we can lean just a little bit more. Got about another 1,000 feet to go here.
KVNY 1, Foxtrot, clear for correction.
Having this radar altimeter here makes me a lot more confident about this too, because I can see very quickly if we started losing altitude above the ground level.
0350. Time now 0335. Exchange approved. KVNY 1, Foxtrot, and I copy your request for the I-8. Your eye starts now. Good luck.
Another 600 feet to go, and then I'll switch us to direct Palm Springs. In case you're wondering why we're doing this, if you're joining us late, I'll show you real quick. We're departing Yucca Valley heading west, but there's a very large mountain ridge just west of the airport, and then over Palm Springs, there's another ridge right along here that runs at about 6,000 feet. So that's why we have this little kind of dogleg out to climb, and then somewhere around here, so I'm going to turn directly down and we'll get on to Palm Springs and get going the right direction.
Gulfstream 76, Tree Bravo Romeo, contact Las Vegas approach 125.02. XL 445, contact Las Vegas approach 125.02.
Alright, we're just about at our altitude here now, so I'm going to go ahead and program a direct to, whoops, not that way, I'm not. Let's go on to the flight plan and say,
Gulfstream 76,
pushing all the wrong buttons today.
Las Vegas
Direct
approach, Las
to
Vegas
Palm
altimeter
Springs.
3009er.
Mode, let's go.
Turn right heading 050. Vector correction.
quick shout out for November 732 Zulu Mike there on the chat. Good to see you, Dad. Thanks for joining me. We're doing a little IFR with on a low ceiling day in Southern California, just departed Yucca Valley, turning now direct Palm Springs, and then onwards to Van Nuys.
8,000, correction, 1,000. After I me descend to maintain 8,000. Vectors and expect vectors for the ILS-125 left bridge.
Let's pick up the Palm Springs altimeter real quick. 3012. There we go. A little rain coming on now. Whew. Alright, well, I think our plan mostly worked.
XL445, Las Vegas approach, Las Vegas altimeter.
Wasn't the smoothest departure I've ever made, for sure, and I'm still pretty convinced that this would have been a bad idea in the real world, at least to do by myself. There was I was trying to do a lot of things at once there, between writing down clearances, and looking at frequencies, and that sort of thing. But, yeah.
86 contact lost.
Yeah, Disgraced Pilot asks, aviation runs on the family. Indeed it does. My dad is a instrument-rated pilot who used to own a couple aircraft in Southern California. Keep telling him he should get back into it for real, but for now we just do the sim.
Gulfstream Chief Bravo, yeah, clear direct at Kumi. Caravan 501 Mike Alpha, correction, 501 Mike Foxtrot. Circle the bridge, ident.
Daglorium asks, do some airfields not have lights at night? That is correct. There are some airports that don't. Not too many. I think most airports of a reasonable size have airports. A lot of them don't leave the lights on all night. You have to trigger the lights with radio clicks. I don't think there's a plug-in for X-Plane that simulates that at all.
So 445.
And I think in X-Plane, if the airport has lights in the real life, then they're on all the time. You can tell that the FAA tracks as part of the airport database what lighting is available at each airport, what approach lights, all that stuff. It's all part of the airport data usage, so, or the database, I guess.
Calling airport, say again. King Air 5 Echo Alpha, thank you. Radar service terminated.
Space Pilot says he flew an instrument approach to Catalina real world. No lights available to public. Pitch back out there. That would not be an airport that I would land at without lights, considering the terrain configuration there. That's for sure.
Right.
Just about to level off here at 10K.
Cross IPV 11,000, descend to maintain 8,000. Expect vectors for the ILS-125 left.
Now we're way above all those scary mountains. I can relax a little bit. But this is fun. This is definitely a little different. It's a bad weather day and trying to do a very real world kind of a scenario, trying to depart out of an airport with a low ceiling and no obstacle departure procedure. So it's kind of fun.
JetBlue 186, contact John Wayne Tower 126.8.
Daglorium asks, how do I bring up the map on the G4330?
So it's 6
normal usage mode, there's this nav. You can go FPL, which toggles between FPL and nav. If you're not in FPL, then turning the big wheel toggles you between nav, WPT, waypoint, and nearest. If you're in nav mode, move the smaller wheel right to the ones and you
Las Vegas altimeter 3009.
Actually, I'm going to fix this real quick to have us track up. I like the mode where your plane is going up.
Bonanza 1 Alpha, correction, Bonanza 10 Alpha, contact circle the bridge 126.7.
267 for 1310 Alpha, thanks.
Caravan 1 Mike Alpha, correction, Caravan 1 Mike Foxtrot, contact circle the bridge 127.2.
26.7. Scroll. Sure glad we got all these .005 frequencies to scroll through.
That's the 6 Air Public Climb, maintain 9,000.
Now we just need to check in on our new frequency. So got departure at the Bonanza 1310 Alpha at 10,000.
Bonanza 1310 Alpha, circle approach Palm Springs, altimeter 3012.
3012 or 10 Alpha. Already set. Okay, well, the rest of this
Someone has
flight,
checked in bacon.
I think, is going to be a little less interesting than that departure was. It's all programmed into the
KVNY
GPS, and
501
it's
Flash
essentially
Shop,
flying
Echo
along these
approach,
routes.
John Wayne altimeter.
But I think what I'm going to do
009.
after this, after we land at Van Nuys, I'm going to try and do the next leg, which I was going to do, which is Van Nuys to John Wayne filed slant alpha, meaning we'll be tuning the nav radios and using our DME instead of using the GPS. I'll still need to bring up the GPS to tune my radios, but we won't be using we're using the map mode, and we won't be using it as our primary navigational source. In fact, I'll probably try and leave it not on the map view just to make it, just to up the challenge level just a little bit. Choosing the Mike says, "What are you doing in Bonanza? I thought you were a C208. Sometimes I fly the Caravans, and this is a plane that I just got a couple days ago. I really like the model. I did a little bit of flying on it earlier to make sure I liked it, and I decided let's go ahead and do the stream." Funny thing is, between the two planes, the Caravan and the Bonanza, their true ground speed is about the same.
And contact Las Vegas.
In fact, the Bonanza's a little bit faster.
Contact Las Vegas approach now 135.
Of course, it doesn't hold 13 people and 4 cows, but you know.
XO 445, contact Las Vegas
power
approach
off a little bit.
135.0.
We'll pull back and lean out a little bit, get that GPS out of the way.
Question 06 Bravo Romeo.
Looking for that drop. There
Visibility
it is.
10 with light
Right
rain,
there.
few clouds 5,000. Would you like the visual or continue with the ILS?
Hey, Nick F08, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it.
Question 2 Bravo Romeo, clear visual approach, runway 25 left, turn your base prior to boulders if you are.
Back in the clouds. Guess we can pick up the Palm Springs ATIS real quick and see what the reported weather is. That's on 1825.
XO 445, Las Vegas approach. The aircraft ahead of you is reporting the airport in sight at 8,000. Would you like to try for the visual or continue with the ILS?
1900 Zulu weather. Sky conditions 3,600.
So
Scattered
445, roger. Traffic to follow to your 12 o'clock,
overcast
5.5 miles
visibility
of Gulf
rain.
Stream descending out of
This gauge right here,
8,000.
this is a...
You have them in sight?
I'll zoom in real close so you can see it.
So
This is an
445
engine
traffic,
monitor
visual approach,
showing you the
125 left.
EGT and CHD of all 6 cylinders of the engine. So keep an eye on the engine temperatures, make sure everything's hunky-dory. You're really getting the rain now, and we're right under that
So
overcast
445,
layer.
thank you.
I have a feeling in the real world this would be a little more turbulent and a little less pleasant than we're seeing here. So we should just be passing right over the top of Palm Springs. Yeah, there's the airport right there. Perfect.
XO 482, thank you.
We should have a right turn onto Victor 388.
Baron 714 Victor Alpha, thank you so much for your patience. Please available faster to copy. Baron 4 Victor Alpha, clear to El Monte Airport as filed, maintain 90,000. Departure frequency 118.8, squawk 5066, hold for release.
There's that right turn that I was expecting. We're now on
Gulfstream
to
Chief Bravo Romeo, contact Las Vegas approach.
Victor
Contact Las
388.
Vegas Tower, we'll
direct
9.9.
to
Good day.
Dewey. We'll be going straight to
Charlie
Paradise VOR,
86, contact Las
Paradise
Vegas
VOR
approach
to
135.0.
Tiffany, and then switching over to Van Nuys all the way to the
Baron 4
airport there.
Victor Alpha, be back correct. Advise when ready.
I'm gonna go ahead and get some traffic
Cell
in there.
880
Right in
Las
front of
Vegas
us.
approach. 2 traffic ahead
an eye on
of
that
you
for
has
sure.
reported the airport in sight leaving 8,000. Would you like to drive for the visual or continue with the ILS?
And Nice 8 is on
86
27.5.
2 planes have you. Gulfstream at company 737. Report the airport leaving 8,000.
2755. There we go. That's ready when we
So
get a little bit
86,
closer to
clear
Van
approach.
Nuys. We can turn on COM 2 and hear the ATIS.
Traffic to follow at your 12 o'clock, 13 miles, turning base now. Do you have them in sight? It's company 737.
Hey, to land 2000. Good to see you on the stream, buddy.
XL 886, roger.
Alright, we can go and speed up a little bit here, I think. See what our ground speed is. Wrong button. There we go. 142. Yeah, not too bad, actually.
XLA 80 is clear visual approach, runway 25 left.
So this, in case you're wondering, we departed from this airport.
So
What feels like about 3 hours ago, but I think it was more like about 15 minutes. But that's the fun of it, right? I know if we came directly on a line across here, we would have had a very short flight,
Final
and it would not have gone well.
Descending out of 4,000 when you have in sight. Group 4 Victor Alpha released for departure. Clearance point if not off by 0400. Not off by 04005. Intention of this frequency not later than 0405. Time now 0348 and 1/2. Frequency stage approved. This is 60 Papa. Turn right heading 270 vector for descent to maintain 4,500.
Latest weather we had from Van Nuys before departing was winds calm, light rain, overcast at 7,500, altimeter 3007. Winds are calm. They're going to be using the 16.
So 8060 have the traffic in sight. He's on a final
there is
now.
an ILS for 16 right.
4 miles.
I don't know if we'll need it because 7,500 is a pretty high ceiling. The airport elevation is like 800
So
feet.
86, thank you. Maintain visual separation.
Taglorium asks, see where it says 210 under the radios.
So 86,
what is that thing and what does it do?
Biggest tower,
Well,
later, turning base.
These are our ADFs. This is an older form of navigational radio before VORs were introduced. For reasons that are
so 482, contact
unclear
Las
to me,
Vegas approach 125.02.
This plane has 2 of them, which most newer planes don't have any at all. And I have not used one of these in quite a long time, but the readout gauge is over here. It's the two arrows here. I'm fairly certain.
This is 60 Papa contact spread approach 118.8.
I don't actually know how you know which one is which, to be honest with you.
XL 482 Las Vegas approach.
Nor do I know if there's any ADBs or NDBs around here we can tune to.
And expect the visual approach, runway 25 left, Las Vegas Alpha.
If anybody knows if there's an NDB somewhere in Southern California that we would be able to receive from here, speak up. Looking at the chart, I do see one Becca NDB over by Los Alamitos.
That's a 60 Papa.
Gray gizmo here.
That's a 6260 Papa Bakersfield approach. Thank you, Bakersfield altimeter 3002. Do you have a approach request advisory after weather?
Let's see if we can tune that up. 233.
That's a 60 Papa. Expect vectors for the ILS runway 30 right approach.
I've never used one of these, to be honest with you. I don't think we can pick it up too far. Let's see, Disgrace Pilot says there should be one at San Bernardino. Okay, yeah, here it is. Pettis 397 is the frequency. Let's give that a shot. It's entirely possible that I don't know how to use these correctly, because I really don't think I've ever used them in the sim at all. There we go. So the way these work, they're purely directional. All they tell you is how far, or not sorry, they don't tell you how far. They show you the direction that the NDB is in relation to your current course. So our course is right here at the top. That matches the HSI, and then the green arrow points to where it is. That's really, I think, just about all there is to it. As far as I'm aware, there's no way of getting distance or anything else like that, other than cross-referencing against another NDB. There are instrument approaches that use these. There are not too many of them anymore. One of these days, maybe we'll try one of those on the stream, see how it goes. Probably should practice a couple times before I do it for real, since I don't really know how to do it, but that'd be fun. Something to do. Alright, just coming up on delay here. About 5 miles. Radio got awful quiet there. Wonder if we switched our radio somehow. Or if we lost the Palm Springs? I don't know. We shouldn't have. We're still pretty close to Palm Springs. I'll give it a minute or two, and then maybe I'll call up and get a radio check. Awful quiet. It's been very not quiet so far. This is making me nervous. I guess I'll call in. So call approach check, Bonanza 1310 Alpha. You still got us?
Bonanza 10 Alpha, affirmative.
Okay, just checking. It got super quiet there after a lot of not being quiet.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, Raster. Caravan 1 Mike Alpha, correction. Caravan 1 Mike Foxtrot, contact circle approach 1.6.
Tigler asks if there's an altitude VS auto on the plane. There is. It's right down here. It's the standard X plane. To readout, right now we're showing a hold at about 10,000 feet. If this was a real gauge, I could dial it. I guess we can go to 9,980. For some reason it gets stuck on like 80 or 10 or 20 instead of unit numbers, which drives me bananas. But then push it in and it'll give you the vertical speed to dial in as well.
Caravan 1 Mike Foxtrot, right, Limburg, altimeter 3007.
Grace Pilot says, a nice way to politely check if they're still there is to ask for the altimeter
Bonanza
setting.
10 Alpha, contact circle approach 135.4.
35.4 for 10 Alpha. The only reason I don't like doing that is because she just gave me the altimeter, and we're still pretty close to Palm Springs, so if I ask her for the altimeter, it makes me sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Which is, maybe it's just me. A little pilot ego there.
This is 60 Republic at amend the heading, center maintain 3000. Correction, amend the altitude, center maintain 3000.
And so got Bonanza 1310 Alpha at 10,000.
Bonanza 1310 Alpha, SoCal approach, Ontario altimeter 3008.
3008 for 10 Alpha. That turn is for our next waypoint over to Paradise. 3008 on the altimeter.
Baron 14 Victor Alpha, Bakersfield approach, Ida. XL 482, contact Las Vegas approach 135.0.
Alex Flight Club says, a few days ago he was flying IFR, wasn't sure if AT still had ATC, decided to do an altimeter check, only problem was he was at flight level 220.
Contact 17, let's see, climb maintain 9,000.
So we got the altimeter controller saying altimeter is 2992. That's awesome. That's a great story.
XL 482 Las Vegas approach, Las Vegas Airport, 10 to 11 o'clock, 6 miles, reporting site. XL 482, thank you, clear visual approach, runway 25 left.
I don't know if X-Plane has a very good winds aloft. We must be having a pretty good sized headwind here to only be doing 125 over the ground in a Bonanza. I've got the throttle pretty much all the way in at this point. Prop's not all the way up. I can dial that up just a little bit. And the engine's leaned out, but that shouldn't make sense. One thing to be aware of in this plane is the fuel selector.
That's a 1
Keep an eye on
outbound
that. Make sure we
traffic,
don't run out of
12
gas.
o'clock,
That was good.
3.5 miles northbound, altimeter gates 10,600, type unknown.
What was the direction on that traffic again? The o'clock?
Bonanza 10 off east, just cross through your 12 o'clock, moving your 1 o'clock.
Alright, traffic inside for 1310 Alpha. And the sim decides to load some new weather. Thank you, X-Plane. Mage asks if those are stock clouds, and if so, what my puffs are at. They are stock clouds. I don't have any fancy weather add-ons at the moment. And I believe my clouds are at about 45%. I could be wrong on that, though. We can go take a peek real quick. Yeah, 45%.
Caravan 1 Mike out. Caravan 1 Mike extra traffic. 9 o'clock, 2.5 miles, opposite direction, altimeter 4,500, type unknown. That's a 6 Sierra, 4.5 miles from Fasto. Turn left heading tree.
K says that altimeter knob has one click spot that moves the
20,
hundreds.
maintain tree 1000 to
Slightly
south,
to the
look
left
laser
of the
clear
button. If you
ILS,
click and
rolling
hold
trees
and
are
move
right
it
approach.
sideways, it will change the tens. Alright, let's give it a shot. To the left of the button. And sideways. I appear to be failing. Finding the aforementioned button. I normally just use the wheel with this, but all of the wheel spots seem to be just in the hundreds. Yeah, not sure what I'm doing wrong there, but something.
Bonanza 1 Alpha, Christian Bonanza 10 Alpha, traffic 9 o'clock, 4.5 miles, turning southbound, out to the gates 9,500, speed descending, type unknown.
Negative contact, 1-3-1-0 Alpha. Don't see anything out there, probably just right below us in the
10
flare.
Alpha, Roger, he's descending through 9,000 now, should be no factor.
Alright, thanks, 10 Alpha.
XL 482, contact Las Vegas Tower, 119.9. Good day.
Alright, so, let's see.
Thank you, good day.
Riverside and March coming up here off the left, San Bernardino and Redlands off the right. I don't know if HeliPilot is doing any helicopter ops out of Redlands. Yeah, someone was watching his stream the other day and saw him flying around. So keep an eye out for helicopters, I suppose. Although I'm not sure he ever flies a helicopter at
Carol, what Mike
10K.
Foxtrot, do you have retro custom numbers today?
Yeah, that extra 80 feet with this being 9980 instead of 10,000 is kind of bugging me, but if I flip it, all it does is go up or down by...
Caravan 1 Mike Foxtrot,
Oh,
vectors
there we go.
to be localizer
I flipped it up and back down again.
I do
Boom.
have the
Alright.
weather.
Now I just need to not touch it at all. Whew. Our long nightmare is over.
This is 60 Potter contact Bakersfield Tower 118.1.
Check in here. We just, oops, let's get the right chart, shall we? We just made our right turn here. I believe. No, we're still in right to Paradise, so we're still headed to Paradise on 112.2. We'll dial that up on the nav radio so we can track it on the DME. 112.2. There we go. 29 miles. Grace Pilot says, I'm not sure why their autopilot is set up like that. It should just be by the hundreds. I agree. I'm not sure who wants to dial their altitude in by the 10 feet, and I don't really think the autopilot's capable of flying to within 10 feet resolution, so why they did it that way, I have no idea. It's kind of annoying. The other thing that I've noticed, too, is when you adjust the
Around 1 Mike
speed,
Foxtrot traffic.
it seems to
10 o'clock,
take
4.5 miles, opposite
several
direction,
scrolls,
4,000,
like several concurrent mouse wheel scrolls to get it to go from 100 to 200 and 200 to 300. It kind of seems to scroll, if you just do it a little bit, it seems to scroll up from 100 back to 100 again. It's super strange. Winton K is asking about the radar altimeter. So this is a nice little, this is I think just a stock.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, descend to maintain 8,000.
8,000 for 1310 Alpha. Let's go ahead and get going down. See if we can get another even thousands here. There we go. Yeah, so see if I just scroll it a little bit, it just kind of goes back to 0. If I just scroll a tiny bit, it stays at 300. I don't know why it does that. It's pretty annoying though.
Caravan 1 Mike Foxtrot, additional traffic.
Alex Flying Club says, on departure climb to 9,980, expect 10,000, 10 minutes after departure. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Probably hasten up our descent just a little bit here. Not real anxious to get lower faster, but we're going to need to enrich our mixture just a scotch here. Talent 2000, this is the Carenado F33 Bonanza. This is not, yeah, this is definitely not the Bonanza A36 with all the fancy glass and that sort of stuff, but I like it. It's very, the panel is laid out very similar to a real-world Bonanza that I have some right seat time in, and may someday get some left seat time in, that's owned by a flying club out at Hillsborough, where I hope to do my student pilot someday. It's a nice plane. I really like it. This is the first day I've flown it. I flew a couple short hops with it earlier just to make sure I knew what I was doing and could get around with it. But it's a nice model. The panel's very well laid out, easy to use. I really like Carenado's mouse wheel for adjusting knobs. Makes things so much easier than all the clicking. So. The cockpit sidewall gauge is a temp thermometer. So here, I'll turn a little bit so you can see it. It's just under 30 degrees outside right now.
Turkey 437
Yeah, that's on the other side. Let's see what else is there. That's about it. Fuel selectors down here. sense anything. No.
Number 43707, squawk 4, correction, squawk 7464, ident and say aircraft type again. Cherokee 706, correction, flights, Cherokee 707, air contact 8 miles northeast of March Airport.
One thing that's a little bit weird is
Alter
this plane.
altimeter 3008, maintain VFR.
This appears to be showing a fuel selector setting that doesn't exist. It's not really pointed at left or right. It appears to be drawing from both. Because
Cherokee 707, do you have a destination in mind?
fuel dials are exactly pegged, but I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know enough about the real Bonanza to know if this actually is a both setting and there's just no label for it.
KVNY,
It's a little weird.
Mike
I'm not sure what the deal
Foxtrot,
is.
turn 11 is 080, vector for the approach. KVNY, Mike Foxtrot, traffic, 12 miles, correction, 12 o'clock, 3.5 miles.
Yeah, I agree with what Talent
4,500
2000 saying. I don't think there is a both in
Text
Bonanzas.
approach 124.
It appears to be flying as if there's a both setting, because the fuel tanks are both draining at the same rate. So I'm not going to touch it.
So called departure, November 1345 is with you at 2,600.
You do need to slow down a little bit though, we're almost in the yellow range on this descent. But we're about to level out at 8,000, so it should be okay.
So it's the 1345 SoCal approach. Roger. Say altitude, leaving, and your request.
November 345 is leaving 2,700 for 3,000, requesting northwest departure to Bob Hope Airport.
That's 345, roger. Radar contact, maintain VFR. Alter altimeter 3008.
Airport down off the left there.
Proceeding VFR and
March
3008 on the altimeter, November 345.
Alright, we leveled off at 8,000 here. A little more speed. Flight tech says, from what I understand, X-Plane does not allow for a left or right mag for that type of manipulator that Dan used. Yeah, I think there's a sim restrictions with some of this stuff. It's funny, X-Plane is a very flexible and, I don't know, programmable, I guess you could say, simulator, but sometimes it just doesn't seem to do stuff. And if it's not in the sim, then sometimes it's possible to add it with plugins, and sometimes it's not.
Carol, Mike Foxtrot, turn rate heading 090. Carol Mike Foxtrot.
I don't know how it shows up on the stream. You may not be able to see it, but we've got
3 miles.
the warp
Same
field
direction, Alticates 3000.
stream attack, or stream effect
Type unknown,
attack.
additional traffic, 10 o'clock, 4.5 miles. Same direction, indicates 3000. Type unknown, appears to be converging. Carol Mike Foxtrot, Roger. Grand 4 Victor Alpha, contact Los Angeles Center 125.27.
Got a little rain sound effect there too. That's pretty cool. Arm photons, yes indeed. Yes indeed.
Bear 714 Victor Alpha, Los Angeles Center, Roger.
Alright, so coming up on Paradise here, we got about another 10 miles to there. A nice slow right turn.
Bear 4 Victor Alpha, Pondell, altimeter 30.
Very briefly, we will be
3010.
direct to Tiffany, right here. From Paradise to Tiffany, and then from Tiffany we will fly all the way into Van Nuys and probably get vectored off for an approach of some kind before then.
Carenado Foxtrot, turn right heading
Got the latest
170.
Van Nuys
Just
weather.
maintain
Looks like
4,000.
ceiling might be coming down a little bit. Still showing light rain, scattered clouds at 4,800, overcast at 6,000 now though instead of 7,500. See a little patch of blue sky right up there. I think it's gonna be very blue though by the time we get there. And just like it started, the rain is over.
Carver 1 Mike Foxtrot, milestone 5 at turn right heading 250. Maintain 4,000 to establish a localizer for localizer, runway 27 approach.
Passing over the side here. Can't see it too well. Just got a little traffic in front of us there. Considerably below us though. Yep. Cloudy day in SoCal for once. Not the wide open skies and bright sun that we usually get. But that's why I kinda, as soon as I looked at this routing,
771
and I
Delta
saw
Echo,
the ceiling
Los
low
Angeles
in the
Center.
Palm Springs area, I
Squawk
figured this would be an
6
interesting flight, a little
items.
more interesting than your kind of average one. So, yeah. Hope you're enjoying it. Just under 2 miles till we're at the Paradise VUR.
Location 771 Delta Echo, radar contact.
Make that right turn.
Citation 1 Delta Echo, understand you'd like to pick up IFR to San Diego, Lindbergh? Citation 1 Delta Echo.
There's the chart. This is a little option under the menu, data fields. Data fields on or off. Gives you these little readouts on the side. A little less room for the map, but that's okay.
Citation 1 Delta
I
Echo.
generally find on the left and the
Los
right I
Angeles
don't need much
Center
room for the map anyway. It's more about the kind of center
1.95.
and what's directly above or below me. So the nice thing about it too is even with the pop-up closed I can still see it over here, so I can easily see our distance to our next waypoint, desired track, current track, and the waypoint. Yep, these are the stock X-Plane 10 clouds. I have actually very little in the way of add-ons. I have a couple airports and airplanes, but I haven't installed hardly anything that messes with any of the actual effects. The only other recent change I've made to the sim is I installed the V3 HD mesh for all of this area, which actually didn't make as dramatic a difference as I kind of expected it would, which I was kind of bummed about at first, and then I realized that the reason it doesn't is probably because the X-Plane stock scenery is just that good, so that's cool.
Citation 1 Delta, correction, citation 771 Delta Echo.
Thanks for stopping by, Alex.
Los Angeles
Good to see you.
Center. Clear to San Diego Lindbergh International Airport via Imperial, correction, direct Imperial. Barrett 4 arrival.
Alright, well let's take a second and have a look at the
Cross cool at and maintain.
IL. The Van Nuys airport diagram is here, and then I've also got the
2000.
ILS
San Diego
pulled
altimeter,
out
correction,
here.
Lindbergh altimeter
We'll be coming at it
3007.
from the east. Doesn't look too complicated. This will be the ILS 16 right, which is a
Carenado
long
Mike Function,
runway,
contact
plenty
Lindbergh Tower
of runway
18.3.
length for us, and a very low decision height to have to worry about. So, if need be,
Citation 1 Delta Echo, clear to
need to be ready
San
to
Diego
fly
Lindbergh
this.
International Airport
looks pretty
via
straightforward.
direct Imperial VOR, then the Barrett 4 arrival, cross Carul at maintain 3000, and if you need the spelling for that, that's Charlie Alpha Romeo Uniform Lima. Citation 1 Delta Echo, read that correct.
Oh, I see, yeah, clicking on CLR cleans up the display of the GPS. I actually don't mind it in
Citation 1 Delta
this
Echo,
busyness level. May not be for everyone, but I generally recognize enough of what's around me and where I'm
Citation 1
going
Delta
that it's
Echo,
not a huge deal.
that was my bad, it's the Barrett 5 arrival.
I think unfortunately this flight is taking long enough that I won't be able to do the next leg that I had planned, Van Nuys to John Wayne. So, I'll probably do that one later this week sometime. Not sure exactly what day, but I'm going to go ahead and probably fly that one in this plane and fly at slant alpha, tuning the nav radios. So that should be interesting. Make sure you're following if you're not already, and you can get a notification when we do that stream.
4.2. For Victor Alpha, taxi cut approach 134.2.
Glory asks how do virtual airlines work? Well, virtual airline is really kind of a broad term. It depends on who you want to fly with, but it can be anything from just a social club of people who fly together and chat about flying to people who try to.
Bonanza 1 out, correction. Bonanza 10 Alpha, turn right heading 320.
320, and are we vectoring for an approach here? 10 Alpha.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, negative will be for the airport.
Okay, thanks.
Right. 714 Vic Alpha, so got approach for big altimeter.
K is asking if he knows when I'll be doing that flight. I normally stream Pacific time evenings after around about 7 o'clock or so. So it will certainly be probably in that time slot.
Cherokee flight 707.
Probably not tomorrow,
approach,
possibly Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure at this point, but.
Citation 1 Delta Echo, start your descent, please.
Alright, heading
Cherokee flight 42707, SoCal approach. Limerick altimeter 3007.
Got vectored off of our course fairly quickly there, so, or fairly early, considering we're still
so 1345,
38.
contact circle approach 1345.
Still 38 miles from the airport, so I'll be interested to see how this works out. Some traffic off the nose there. Here comes the clouds. Anyway, getting back to virtual airlines, it could be anything from a flying club to people who try to realistically recreate an airline's timetable using the right flight numbers and equipment for the routes and so on. There's lots of them out there that cater to kind of everyone from people who are hyper-realistic, people who are just casual, fly together, people who are trying to very militantly stick to an airline's specific timetable and equipment and so on, and people who just enjoy flying. So I've been a part of a couple over the years. There's plenty of good ones out there. It's not really been my thing as of late, just because they tend to be focused more on long haul. They tend to be focused on progressing you into long haul international flights in large aircraft, which really isn't my speed. I like these kind of low and slow PilotEdge SoCal flights. So it's not really been my bag as of late.
Perfect. Alpha descend to maintain 6,000. Bonanza 10 Alpha, turn left heading 260, vector for the airport.
Left to 260 for 10 Alpha. Day Gloria masks. Points are money. Yeah, a lot of virtual airlines will have a rank system. That's another thing that I've never been really big on. They want you to fly a certain number of hours for the airline, log hours, before you can start flying different airplanes. Not all VAs follow this formula, but it's pretty common that they'll want you to work your way up from small aircraft to big aircraft. I kind of just want to fly whatever I want, whenever I want.
With you, SoCal approach.
So the idea of spending a bunch of time in an airplane that I don't really like so I can earn the right to fly a airplane I do like just doesn't resonate for me personally. And yeah, FS Economy is another great way to enjoy flying. This is a FS Economy flight right now.
Thank you, and good evening.
That's exactly right. We're on what Lima 22 to Van Nuys never would have flown in or out of Yucca Valley Airport if not for FS Economy. We probably wouldn't have even noticed it was there. So, all right. Well, let's see here. What else can we do? We should get Van Nuys VOR dialed in here just as a standby. 31 miles to Van Nuys.
This is the Wintry Fork SoCal approach for big altimeter 3009.
Not pointing directly at the airport, but we are fairly close to it. Oh, let's see if we can pick up the Van Nuys ATIS too. Not yet. Okay. I guess I can just leave that COM2 turned on. That way we can, when we are in range, we should pick it up. Cool. Flight Static says he's thinking about working on a fogging plugin for interior of airplanes. That'd be cool, man. I'd love to see that. It'd be especially cool if you could get it to interact with some of the defrost and anti-fog knobs. Like this plane has a down here. I'll show you. Has a defrost knob that doesn't appear to do anything. It thinks it's clickable, but
Bear 4 Victor Alpha. Cross starts at and maintain 5,000. Clear for your
Plan 2000 says to FSC question, his King Air C90 in real world will seat 7 passengers, but FSC rates it at 11. Well, first of all, if you have a King Air C90 in the real world, I refuse to answer that question until you let me fly in it. But I'm assuming you don't, and you just mean a real world King Air. I think it depends on the seating configuration.
Off of the approach requesting to Burbank.
Van Nuys approach, we're fine to try a visual. We also don't mind being vectored for ILS. Whichever works for you is fine. 10 Alpha.
Minute 10 Alpha. Sorry, your destination is Van Nuys. I said Burbank. As the visibility 10, light rain, 4,800 scattered, ceiling broken. Correction, ceiling overcast at 6,000. We can try for the visual and sight. Well, you can expect vectors for the ILS.
Oh yeah, 10 Alpha. Let's stick with the ILS, and then if I get a visual on the field, I'll let you know, and we can go visual.
Yeah, so 10 Alpha. The vectors for the ILS were we 16 right approach.
Okay, vectors for ILS 16 right, 10 Alpha. All right, so knowing that's coming, I'm going to go ahead and get that dialed in here. Now frequency is 111.3, course is 161. Can't switch that on yet because we're actually using. Well, I guess we could. We're on an assigned heading. All right, let's flip it into VLOOK mode. Does that mean I need to set the bug again? Apparently so. Okay, that's kind of weird. But whatever. 161.
And the 10 Alpha. Just to maintain 6,000.
6,000. 10 Alpha.
Cherokee Flight 707, my pleasure. Your service terminated. Squawk IFR. Frequency change approved.
Dial the mixture in just a little bit more. Let's as we descend. Still nothing on that Van Nuys ATIS. Now that we're getting into the LA area, we've got all sorts of traffic. I've got a plane here, and a plane here. Three other aircraft in sight right now, even just looking out the front. I bet if we look around we can see even more. Yeah, so two there. Don't see any others at the left side. The right. Right there. Another one that I saw earlier right there. Lots of traffic. Busy place. Bump there with some weather loading, I suspect. The wonderful X-Plane weather engine that, whenever it downloads a new set of METARs for the world, wipes out everything that's there and puts the new ones in. So you get rough changes.
Ground 4 Victor Alpha, contact El Monte Tower 121.2.
Unless it's got a controller change.
And 1345, do you have the weather for Burbank and the airport?
Turn that come to again, see if we can. Still can't hear the ATIS. I don't know. 2755.
1345, roger, stand by, just wait for a handoff, we'll get you over Burbank Tower here shortly.
Is the frequency, but maybe that one's not working in X-Plane? Not sure. Get our lights on as we get ready for the approach here.
1 Delta Echo, contact SoCal approach 124.35. Station 1 Delta Echo South approach, roger, Lindbergh altimeter 3007, plan localizer, runway 27 approach.
Alright, so we're going to need to be vectored out over here.
Station 1 Delta X, and maintain 10,000.
Here pretty soon, because this is Burbank and Whiteman. Right, which runs right parallel here, so pretty soon we're going to get probably a turn out to over there. I assume they're probably trying to avoid the streams at Burbank.
Number 1345, contact Burbank Tower 118.7. Have a good night.
I don't know what the max range of ATIS is, but it feels like within 10 miles we certainly should be able to pick it up, so I'm just going to say that it's not working on 2755.
Station 10 Alpha, turn right heading 330 vectors for the ILS, runway 16 right approach.
It's the sim, so we've got the METAR car here. Light rain scattered at 4,800, overcast 6,000, altimeter 3010.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, turn right heading 330 vectors for the ILS, runway 16 right approach.
Right to 330, forward the approach, 10 Alpha. Altimeter was 3010.
Citation 1 Delta Echo after Barrett, descend and maintain 6,000.
Yep, that's Burbank right underneath us there. Cooperbot says you need to use 118.45 and X-Plane doesn't have the right frequency. Oh, okay. Let's give that a shot.
Van Nuys information.
Ah, what do you know?
2000 Zulu weather. Sky conditions
Well,
7,500, overcast visibility
using
more
the wrong
than 10.
frequency is not very, not too
Temperature
realistic.
142.8. Wind light and variable. Altimeter 3006. Arriving and departing runway 16 right.
I always use the ATIS X-Plane altimeter if I can get it, because that way you have it what's matching the field. So we also know we can set our minimums here. And the minimum descent altitude is about 1,100. Set that there. That'll give us a nice warning when we descend to minimums. Tom says, how'd you get the dude? I have no idea. I just go with what it tells me. I'm running Windows 8.1. Still nothing on that localizer. Makes me nervous that the approach is also bugged, but we have decent visibility, so if need be we can proceed to the area of the airport and try the visual. Well, in comparison to earlier when it was
Station 1 Delta Echo 7 miles from O'Kane,
nothing
turn
but,
right heading
radio
240,
traffic.
descend and maintain 5,000 until
Now
established
it's,
localizer cleared, localizer runway 27 approach.
it's much quieter now, that's for sure. We'd be able to get our departure clearance without any trouble, I suspect. But that was good. It was good practice to know what to do when you're waiting for a controller.
Number 1 Delta Echo flight heading 240. Number 1 Delta Echo again, flight heading 240 and now descend and maintaining 3,800 until established on localizer clear for the approach.
So we should get a vector a little more leftwards fairly soon, I would expect. Hey, November 122 Victor Uniform. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream tonight, my friend. Ha! Uberbud just linked me to the Jira bug for the Van Nuys ATIS. That's awesome. Hopefully we'll get addressed. We're going to spin around, fly the ILS, assuming the nav radio wakes up. I'm a little nervous about it. Let me see if I can look up the frequency. I think that's possible using this.
Number 1 Delta Echo, you flew through the localizer, turn right, heading 2... Let's make it 300 to intercept. Number 1 Delta Echo, I think the reason you missed the localizer, it took you almost 3 miles to make your turn.
Yeah, I don't see a way to pull up the ILS frequency. I think that is possible on the real world GPS. Oh, never mind. Localizer just came alive, so that's good.
Number 1 Delta Echo, the airport's now 12 o'clock and 900 miles. Report if you have it in sight.
See if the glide slope starts tracking here too.
Number 1 Delta Echo, thanks. Cleared visual approach for runway 27. Bonanza 10 Alpha, turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 5,000.
260 and 5 for 10 Alpha. Yeah, a little ATC curmudgeonliness there. You can understand it when you're trying to vector somebody and they take 3 miles to make a turn. You can understand it kind of ruins his plans. I know from having done sim controlling before.
Sedation 1 Delta Echo, contact Lindbergh Tower
You have to
118.3.
really allow for different pilot skill capabilities. In the real world, you assume everyone knows what they're doing, but on the sims, you just can't. You can't do that. And you figure out real quick when you're working traffic what when somebody is going to be capable of following your instructions promptly, and when they're going to need a lot more time.
Bonanza 10 Alpha, 2 miles from Katy, turn left. Heading 190 and maintain 5,000 till established localizer cleared ILS runway 16 right approach.
Up to 190 and we'll maintain 5 till established group approach 10 Alpha. Flight Static says, as he calls it, PilotEdge learning just took place. Yes, yes indeed. So far I haven't had any PilotEdge learning on this flight, but it certainly had it in the past. I know the feeling. Alright, let's get our mixture in, prop in. Lights are on. Cue up the autopilot for the approach. Yeah, on PilotEdge, the controllers are working many frequencies at once, so you'll hear them. You won't hear the other pilots that are on the same frequency as you. That's fairly realistic in the real world as well. You'll often hear controllers working traffic that you can't hear, whether it's too far away or they are on a different frequency, just like on PilotEdge. We take it to a much higher level than real world because we don't have the cash flow quite yet to pay 800 people to work all of the ATC positions in SoCal simultaneously, so it's a nice compromise. Alright, so we are on the localizer. We'll get the tower frequency dialed up here. It is 19.3. Get that ready in the standby so we can make a quick transition. The stupid 005 frequencies that we don't even use in the US. There we go. Speed up just a little bit. I'm just going to pull the prop back just a scotch so we don't redline it the whole way down. Any visual on the airport? Yep, yeah, we got the airport inside there. Right there. Yeah, I flew with a track IR for a while. You guys probably noticed I'm not using one. I'm pretty decent with the commands for looking around, the keyboard commands for panning and tilting, up and down and zooming. So I like being able to know exactly where the screen is and not having to hold my head still or be constantly pausing and unpausing the sim, but It's not for everyone. Alright, I think the glide slope is not being picked up here, so I'm going to disengage the autopilot and get us way lower, because that glide slope should have been picked up a long time ago. At 10 Alpha, we appeared to have an in-op glide slope, so we're going to go ahead and dive down and see if we can get down.
10 Alpha, Roger, and contact Van Nuys Tower 119.3.
19.3 for 10 Alpha. This might be tricky. We are still very high. I don't want to drop the gear because we'll overspeed, so we're going to have to listen to the beeping for a little while. Sorry about that. And nice tower, Banana's 1310 Alpha, ILS for 16 right.
71 Delta Echo, taxi to parking via Bravo, remain
I'm
straight
going
and
to dive us rather severely here without overspeeding the airplane.
Number 1310 Alpha, Van Nuys Tower, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Okay, clear line 16 right, and we may have to go around. We realized way too late that our glide slope was in-op, so we're super high.
Rudder, just let me know.
Will do. Sorry about the beeping. It's annoying. Trying to get down to a speed where I can put the wheels out without them falling off. This isn't looking too good at all. I don't know exactly what the gear extension speed is, but I can't imagine it's 165 knots. Let's do one more dive here. There's our minimums call. Alright. Yeah, this isn't working out. We're going to have to go around. 10 Alpha, we're on the missed approach, just couldn't get down.
10 Alpha, would you want a visual pattern to land or back to approach for another try, PLF?
Oh, we can do a visual pattern for 10 Alpha.
10 Alpha, roger into the right downwind runway 16 right.
Okay, we'll make a right downwind for 16 right. Thanks. So I hope you're enjoying this aerial tour of the beautiful Van Nuys Airport. Actually, the scenery is pretty nice, so it's kind of fun to see it all. We'll just make a quick pattern and then get in here. Wait for this thing to slow down. I should have noticed way sooner that the glide slope
cross runway
wasn't working, and definitely on me. Although it appears to be centered now. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's kind of weird. Well, alright, let's level out here. And we'll begin that right turn. So we're going to need to make a right turn for the crosswind. Now we're in the range. I'll get the flaps down.
And 17 Alpha, San Luis Tower, runway 200. Number 84, where are you parking today?
Fly the crosswind. I've had a bad habit lately of flying my patterns way too close to the airport.
94 Bravo, roger left.
It's very difficult for someone who doesn't have a whole lot of real-world flight experience to know how far to go out, so I'm not going to go too far this time, but hopefully we don't have the same problem. Alright, got 85 knots. Yeah, I could have done a slip and tried to lose more altitude that way. I didn't really think of that at the time, to be honest with you. I was pretty sure I was going to have to go around anyway, so that's alright.
Number 10 Alpha, runway 1 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 16 right for 10 Alpha. That's alright. Another couple minutes in the air never hurt anybody. Unless you're like, get airsick a lot, then it would hurt you. I guess. Alright, flaps are at approach, lights are on, we can bring the wheels down. We're straying to the airport a little bit there. Keep an eye on it out the airport out of our way. Flying too much towards the airport instead of parallel to it at this point. Alright, flaps are down, wheels are down. Board is almost moving to behind us. seconds.
Number 78 Alpha Foxtrot, ready to departing or maintenance frequency. Good night.
Yeah, the flaps in the Bonanza definitely make a difference with the altitude. The problem is I was going so fast. If I had been thinking more, maybe I could have gotten them out faster and not had that problem, but... Alright, let's go ahead and continue the turn here. See if I can line up. Yeah, that's not too bad. Turned a little wide there, but not too bad. Last planet I turned way too wide. It was pretty embarrassing. So, all in all, could be a lot worse. Lightsaber low a little bit, so get this started. It's lined up. Fast. Slow down. Still pretty fast, but that's alright. This is a nice long runway. I don't mind landing a little bit of fast. We made it! Eventually. I'll miss that high speed. I'll get the next one here. Come on, brakes. Do your braking. There we go. Okay, pull the flaps in. We'll get clear here.
Number 10 Alpha, exit parking via Alpha, remain this frequency. Good night.
Parking on Alpha this frequency. Thanks, 10 Alpha. And we're going to go park over the northwest corner of the airport. Should be around the corner here. Come on. Ah, the stream's just catching up to where you guys can see the landing. Yeah, that one worked out pretty well actually. I was pretty happy with that. Floated a little bit there, but I haven't really landed this plane more than 3 or 4 times, so I'm still kind of getting used to how it behaves. I'm spending so much time in the Caravan, and that's a big, heavy plane, and this is not. Alright, let's go ahead and park it up here. Talon asks, who is this controller? I think he has the best radio voice on PE. I don't know who it is, but I bet he's going to watch this video and smile at that comment. Alright, brakes on. We will turn our electricals off and pull the power. Thanks everyone, hope you enjoyed the flight. It was a little more adventurous a couple times than I was really planning for it to be, but I sure enjoyed it. I learned a little bit about things to do and things not to do, so hope you learned a thing or two as well. I sure enjoyed chatting with everyone. Like I said, I'll be back online hopefully sometime later this week to fly the John Wayne to the Van Nuys to John Wayne leg of this. And would love to see y'all if you could make it. So long, everyone. See you soon.